Good afternoon, this is Clark Neighbors, BIS Commodities in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with a market recap ending December 22nd, 2017. One more week left to go in the year. Grain markets continue to be fairly quiet, as we've talked about, with volatility being the lowest we've seen in 10-11 years. For the week, corn was up a nickel. Wheat was also up about 5 cents. Beans were down 13 cents. Thus far for the month of December, with a week to go, corn's down 4 cents. Wheat is down 8. Beans leading the way, down 36 cents. Obviously, November was a fairly good up market in the bean market. Weather situation in South America continues to be very benign to this degree, thus taking some weather premium out of beans as we progress through the growing season. Livestock for the month, cattle down nearly $10, and hogs are up about 20 cents. The only market that seems to be moving, or the two markets that seem to be moving much of recent. The stock market continues almost on a daily basis, making new highs, obviously riding the wave of the tax reform plan and the latest hot, for whatever it's worth, investment. The Bitcoin has been all over the place, and actually today is down a big percentage. As far as markets are concerned going forward in these grains as we progress into 2018, there's not a lot to be bullish about at this point. At the same point, potentially not a lot to be bearish in that regard, but because of that, these markets could be very flat. So it's key for producers to look at opportunities, and as these opportunities are going to be smaller than they have been in the past, look at logistics, look at space, look at quality, etc. going forward. Now the corn is interesting from this standpoint, is we've had a pretty good basis appreciation in corn since the middle of October, especially into the processor ethanol markets. In most cases you've seen 25 to maybe 35 cent basis improvement from October 15th to current values. What's also interesting is if you look at the cash bids in many of those locations right now, there's very little cash carry now from December to March, give or take, depending on what location you're at. There may be anywhere from a 5 cent appreciation in basis between now and March to actually an inverted, or the December being a slight premium over Jan, Feb, March, which is the case in Cedar Rapids right now. If you're in those type of markets, you have to look very hard about, do I sell some corn here up front with the stronger basis versus the deferreds. Now, changing locations a little bit, if you look into the export of the river market, say take St. Louis for example, 25 cent basis appreciation from October 15th to current, a little less than the processor appreciation, but there's 21 to 22 cents cash carry from now to March. In other words, the market's saying, I don't need your corn today, I need it tomorrow. Thus, in those areas, you may want to hold off on your marketing from a basis perspective going forward. Cattle on feed report came out this morning at 11 o'clock with this noon close. Big numbers, fairly bearish. Cattle on feed number 108%. Placements was the surprise to some degree, up 114% on placements. Trade was looking for something around 106, and marketings were 103%, which doesn't sound real big, but that is an all-time record for the month of November. We also had an all hog and pig report out today. 102.4 was the hog inventory number, kept for breeding at 101.1 and marketing at 102.5. Cattle market has been supportive from a cutout standpoint. We should see some more uptick in that as we get into January, according to some of the analysts. Demand continues to be big, but at the same point there's a lot of cattle obviously in inventory. Same can go with the hogs. So the one common thread, or the one common story, I guess, that's very important in all these markets right now, whether you're looking at cattle, you're looking at hogs, you're looking at corn, beans, DDG, sorghum, etc., is the export trade seems to be the the moving force that's going to be key, whether these markets have decent support or not through the winter and going forward. So keep an eye on the dollar index. That could be key, and also just a general philosophy of where we are in the U.S. versus the rest of the world as far as values. And right now the U.S. corn, wheat, and beans is at or the cheapest product in the world for the world marketplace. We would like to wish everyone here a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Feel free to call us here in Cedar Rapids if you have any questions. Phone number is 800-373-2525 or BISCommodities.com. Everyone have a great weekend, a Merry Christmas, and we will see you again next week.